What will your play be in the last quarter? Welcome to Season 1, Episode 5 of The Last Quarter. I'm Haley Jordan.
I'm Jake Toppen.
Today we are dedicating our entire show to the ice, NHL. Let's go. Jake, this is right up your alley.
Yeah, no, I love hockey. It's my sport I love to talk about. It's a sport I want to work in one day. Obviously, if I had to choose one specific sport, I love hockey. And there's only a couple weeks of it left, so I'm kind of sad.
Yeah. And we have a lot coming up today. And more importantly, we have guest Kirsten Krull. She's a hockey enthusiast and fellow sports reporter here with us today. She's our age. And honestly, Jake, I really don't know how I came to know who she was. You know how the Twitter world is. We just kind of follow each other on Twitter. It's our own little family. And that's how I found her.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how I found her. Well, I think she followed me like last fall. And I saw that she went to St. Cloud State, I believe, and she liked hockey. And I was like, oh, yeah, I like fellow sports reporter, got to follow her, give her a follow. So I think I know her from Twitter, but I've never talked to her or obviously met her. But she seems really nice.
And that's the great thing about Twitter is you can just instantly become connected with people that are hours and hours away from you. I mean, she went to school in Minnesota, and here we are in Indiana. She's in the waiting room right now, so let's welcome Kirsten Krull, and hopefully there's no technical difficulties getting her into our meeting here. But there she is, connecting to audio. Okay, for our first time putting someone in the waiting room, this has proved to be effective. Hi, Kirsten. Oh, there you are. Hello. Welcome.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. I was telling Jake this is the first time that we've stuck one of our interviewees in the waiting room because it's a little bit more of a smoother transition, and I'm happy that it didn't lock you out. So glad to have you here.
Me too.
All right. So let's get right to it. You're a recent grad of St. Cloud State University. First of all, tell everybody where that is and what did you major in?
Yeah, most people don't know where it is, and I myself didn't even know where it was when I decided I wanted to go to school there. So it's smack dab right in the middle of Minnesota, so central Minnesota. And yeah, it's kind of a hidden gem in the Midwest as far as broadcasting goes, or if you're into hockey too, it's a huge hockey school. So that's really how I got started, because the hockey program was so well known for sports broadcasting there, a great team and program to coincide with it. And so that's really what drew my attention to wanting to go to school there.
Kirsten, while in school, where did you get most of your media reps? With a network, with a student-run organization? What basically compiled your reel?
We have a campus TV station. And so when I went to St. Cloud State, it's called UTVS. So that's really where I got started in everything that I did. We have a weekly newscast. I keep saying we, like I still go there. But we have a weekly newscast where I was able to report and be a sports anchor once or twice a week for that. And then I did some work with athletics to where I hosted digital segments or did interviews with athletes at the university. And then in addition to our campus TV station, we also did a number of shows, one of which being Crunch Time, which is a debate show about sports, and then one called Husky Mag, which is basically a sports center show about St. Cloud State athletics. But the big thing that I got to do in college was a branch of our TV station on campus is Husky Productions, which focuses on live sports. So hockey is the main sport for that production, but we've also covered football games as the second largest sport, and then basketball as well. So I ended up going to St. Cloud State for 5 years, and my first 3 years I didn't get the rinkside role. It's one that you have to interview and audition for, and they have the same person do it throughout the entire season. Mm-hmm. And so my final 2 years at school, I interviewed and got the position, and we had a number of our games air on Fox Sports North. And then most recently we had a partnership with Fox 9 Plus, which is just another TV station that broadcasts out to the Twin Cities area. So that is primarily how I gained most of my experience.
That just gave me chills, just knowing that you've held a Fox microphone in your hand before. Oh my gosh. As sports reporters, we look and we see pictures of reporters and they've got, they've either got the E for ESPN or they have the Fox Sports logo. And we just think, oh my gosh, what I would give to be holding that. So congrats to you. That's amazing.
Thank you. Even before I got the ringside role, just the reporters before me who I got to learn a lot from. Whenever we'd have a Fox game, I just kind of go over to the set and just hold it, which sounds really lame, but I just felt so cool as a freshman. I wasn't even on TV, but I was just holding the mic. Yes, and we took lots of pictures with it too. So yeah, it was definitely a special moment.
It's go ahead, Jake.
That's a good flex to have that, honestly.
Throw it on the gram, hey mom, look, I made it. Yeah.
We definitely posted a lot of pictures on the gram with it.
It's almost before you got to that point, it's almost like a rite of passage to kind of watch the older girls, the older guys go through it. For me, my first sport that I covered for Big Ten Network was field hockey, and it's actually a very underappreciated sport. I truly enjoyed it, but here it's kind of the low end of the totem pole, I guess, because there's not a lot of field hockey people in the Midwest. But even though it was considered, kind of like your first opportunity, I had fun. I liked it. Field hockey minus the ice.
Exactly. I've never done field hockey. I think it would be a lot of fun to do, though.
It's like fast soccer. And I know soccer is very fast already, but with the puck that they're using or the ball, whatever you want to call it, it moves quick. And you can't see it when you're in the booth. So you have to constantly just be running down the field. It's insane. And Jake, did you get your start in the media school? I don't even think I know.
Where?
Yeah. Like, what was the first gig that you had?
Okay, so in high Wait, what's up? Sorry, it froze for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties today, but what was your first gig that you got at IU that was kind of like, hey, I'm making it. I'm climbing the ladder a little bit.
Sophomore year, and it was swimming and diving.
Okay.
So, I know obviously people aren't going to want to cover it, swimming and diving, but I swam in high school, so obviously I wanted to cover it. And swimming is huge in Indiana. It's like hockey in Minnesota, because Minnesota is the hockey state. Indiana is a huge swimming state, so it was fun to cover swimming. And Indiana has a great swim program, so it was fun.
Everybody starts somewhere. We've covered those games that nobody's watched. We've covered games that everybody's watched. It's just kind of all over the board. Kirsten, are you employed now? Are you seeking work? What's kind of your status right now?
So I'm kind of in a weird spot right now. I've been living back at home ever since the pandemic started. I decided to move out of my apartment in St. Cloud early, finish school at home. So I'm still here right now. I've been doing a little bit of freelance work recently, if you will. I've been doing play-by-play for some high school soccer broadcasts, and I have a few more opportunities to do it again for more soccer broadcasts, and I think I'm about to do swim and dive for play-by-play. I've never done swim and dive before, so that's going to be, I definitely got to do a lot of prep before then, but I'm excited for it. And as far as the big job goes, it's not official on paper. We're kind of waiting for people to come back from being furloughed, from what I'm being told, but I'm in communication with an organization, and I'm hoping really soon to be able to get some work going with that.
Me too. I know it's been a long year for everybody, especially sports reporters. And where's home for you, by the way?
Rochester, Minnesota. So if you know where the Mayo Clinic is, home of Mayo Clinic, just 2.5 hours south of St. Cloud.
Okay. So you're living in Minnesota. So you're probably about maybe, I don't know, Jake, what do you say, 8 hours away from us in Bloomington?
Is that near the middle or bottom of Minnesota? I have no idea where that's at.
It's in the bottom corner.
Oh, okay. So from Bloomington, oh man, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, you're not too far, just half a day. half a day. Drive. Well, we really are hoping for the best for you as far as work goes. That's, fingers crossed. I hope to see a tweet from you soon saying where you're going. We're excited.
I'm hoping that I can share the news soon. It's been a place I've been talking to since end of January, and originally I was supposed to hear back on my status officially in April, and so it's really been pushed back a lot. So I'm really hoping soon that we're able to get the word out, because it's been kind of a hard secret to keep.
Oh, I'm sure. I can't wait so you can broadcast it to everybody. I'm excited for you. And tell everybody about your award you got this year. The really big one, the one that we all saw. It's very important. Tell us about that.
I think I know what you're talking about. Is it the STAA?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, that's funny, just because I wasn't really even going to apply for it, because I don't know, when it's any award that I've gotten like an honorable mention for, or anything that I've submitted to, I've kind of just always counted myself out right from the get-go. So, and plus I'm very critical of myself. So I'm like, oh, is my stuff good enough to submit to even try to be recognized for something like that? So I don't know. I was sitting at home, and it was a little bit after the application had been open. It was going to be closing soon. I actually didn't have Adobe Premiere, and I wasn't at school, so I had no way to access any of my most recent clips to update my demo reel or anything. So I ended up working something out where somebody from school was able to get some footage for me, and then I remotely edited. I told my friend what clips to put into it, and so she shared her screen with me, and I was telling her how to edit it, and she was using her Adobe Premiere to do it. So it was a very complicated process to even submit, and then I didn't really think I was going to get anything out of it. So that week I was just super anxious, because I knew the award was coming out soon, the results were coming, and then I heard them call my name, where I ranked 12th in the country. And so that was super exciting. It was never anything I expected to get. And even to just be mentioned among other broadcasters who are so talented throughout the country was a really cool moment.
Yeah, and I've seen your reel. It's fantastic, by the way. It's fantastic. And somebody at your age to already be at that level and covering sports on that level is very impressive. So well deserved. I probably should have even been higher, in my opinion. It should have been like top 10, but it's like, that's just incredible that, and you were only, one of a few women on there too, which is also a huge milestone.
Yeah, I think one of the cooler things about the whole thing was, one of three women made it into, I was one of three women to make it into the top 20 in those rankings. So that was really, really cool.
What made you want to enter the profession where women are outliers?
It kind of just goes way back to middle school. So I was in 7th grade when I decided I wanted to go into broadcasting. And originally I had played volleyball at the time. So as a 13-year-old, I was like, I want to be a pro volleyball player. And I wasn't good enough to play pro volleyball. And I realized that. And so I was talking to my friends in gym class one day, and one of my friends said, like, well, you love football. Why don't you cover it? And so at first I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to be the one getting interviewed for playing. And then I sat on it for a while, and I was like, no, actually, I would love to do that. And so ever since then, I just kind of ran with the idea. And I was that weird girl in middle school who was reading books during class time on, the Ice Bowl or Tom Landry, the Cowboys coach from way back when. And so I just took a very early interest in the industry.
That's amazing. And I think it's really cool to hear everybody's journeys, everybody's path, because it's so different. I don't know how many times where I've asked my mentors or people, where did you first start? When was your first big break? And every time they are completely different. And you're no exception. Like, that's completely different than anything I've heard. I love how you read books in class. That's amazing. I don't know of anybody I know, I don't know about you, Jake, but I've never ever met anybody that dedicated, especially, as a preteen and a teenager.
Well, I mean, when you grow up and you're younger, I didn't really have technology until I was a freshman, and I had an iPod in like middle school, but like I never had like technology to just go like look up stuff, or like obviously none of us probably had like our own laptops at that age, so we couldn't just look up sports stuff. So I mean, all we really had was like Sports Illustrated getting delivered to your door, like magazines, like just stuff like that. That's where I got all my sports facts from. Like that's where I'd go back and look and just like read through stuff. So I'm with her on that. I'd read books and do everything like that. I don't like to read, but like, I mean, now you kind of have to, so.
Kind of have to. And as for me, unfortunately, guys, I jumped on the wagon very, very late. I actually despised sports when I was younger, which means why am I here? I don't know. When I was younger, and the Colts games would be on in the living room and my whole family would be shouting and yay, Peyton Manning, woo, you know, I would be like, oh my gosh. I'd go upstairs and just be like, I just want to be in peace and quiet. And then something happened. I always knew I wanted to do journalism. Then something happened in college where I was like, you know what? Sports are kind of where it's at. Sports are where it's at. And now I love it. And I would never go back.
Well, I mean, I've always loved sports, but like I kind of hopped on it late too, because out of high school, I applied for like, when I was applying for colleges, I was wanting to do architecture and engineering. Like I had no desire to do any like journalism, media, whatever. Like I didn't know I wanted to do that. My dad's like, you should do like something in sports just because you know like a lot about sports. I was like, okay, well I'll try it. And so then I switched to I'm marketing and media, but I switched over to media side, and now I'm just like, I love it. So it's fun. I switched late too though.
We could all write a book on everybody's journeys. There's so many. So many. Well, let's move on and talk NHL. Kirsten, I know you're a huge hockey girl. Jake's trying to get me more into hockey, and I truly enjoy it now. We have 4 teams. They're on the hunt for the Stanley Cup. For the Western Conference title, we have Vegas Golden Knights, and then we have the Stars battling it out. And on the Eastern side, we've got the Lightning and the Islanders. What do you guys think about these matchups so far?
For me, some of the teams that are in the conference finals right now, I didn't anticipate before the qualifiers had started. I originally picked the Avalanche winning the West and then the Flyers winning the East. So for the Islanders to be currently playing in the East, not what I had expected. I did most recently watch Game 2, and the Islanders actually appeared to show up unlike Game 1. But I still think Tampa's going to come out on top in that series to make it to the finals. And as far as the West, I'm really liking the Stars right now.
Jake, What about you?
I agree with her on the West. I had in my bracket, my actual bracket that I put online, I had the Avalanche winning the West. And then I actually picked the Islanders to win the East, surprisingly. So I've still got that in me, but like the last 2 games for them have just been absolutely miserable. They got destroyed 8-2 the other night. And then last night, I think it was last night, they played a better game, but they allowed a goal with like 7 seconds. Nikita Kucherov scored a goal with like 8 seconds left. That was just hard. I just had to tear every single Islanders fan apart because like that was just hard to watch. Like 7 seconds left.
That was a nice goal though by Kucherov.
Yeah,
and
nice.
to be fair though, the Islanders did stick with them up until, like you said, the final 7 seconds in the game.
I know they played a way better game. Like you said, you never would have said you saw the Stars in the West, possibly winning the West. I never saw that either. But a lot of people wouldn't have seen the Islanders making it this far either in the East. Because, I mean, like, I kind of saw it. There's because, like, their teams, like, they have, like, Matthew Barzal and, like, a few other guys. But, like, they don't really have, like, what the Lightning have. The Lightning have been deep for so many years, and they've been trying to win a Stanley Cup for so long. I would say ever since, like, 2015 when they lost to the Chicago Blackhawks in the Stanley Cup. And then, obviously, last year they struggled with the Columbus Blue Jackets, the lowest seed in the East. And this year they're kind of John Cooper and the Lightning are just like kind of like they're not taking anything for granted this year because they won over 60 games last year, which was like a franchise record for them. And then they got swept by the lowest seed. So this year they're kind of taking it slower. And I think they've realized like, hey, like we finally have a chance to do this. And they're doing it without one of their best players, Steven Stamkos, too. So he's out for the series, but I mean, they have plenty of depth to make it to the Stanley Cup. So I'm not worried about it. I agree with you, Kirsten. I think that the Lightning will win that series. And I do agree with you that I do like the Stars as well because they're just playing amazing right now. And is it Heiskanen? I think I'm saying that right. He's like younger than us, and he's probably front runner for the Conn Smythe. So I agree.
And Sorry, to piggyback off of you there too, just I think if any of the 4 teams, if I had to pick who's going to win it all right now, I would say the Lightning, just because of what you had mentioned. They're playing with a chip on their shoulders this season, and it is very noticeable that just their demeanor and everything is up, especially after getting embarrassed in the playoffs last year when they were a favorite to win it all. I don't think they're going to make the same mistake this year.
Yeah, no, they've been going for the Stanley Cup for so long. I honestly feel bad for them at this point. I really want them to win a Stanley Cup, especially Stamkos. I don't like the Lightning, obviously, but it would be cool to see Victor Hedman, that core that's been there forever, to win a Stanley Cup finally, because they've been trying for years, and they've been good for so many years, and they can never make it. So see what happens. Like I'm excited. I'm excited to see I want to see a good Game 7. Like I think a good Stanley Cup final. I think Dallas would be great in the Stanley Cup final versus Tampa Bay, but I feel like a really good Stanley Cup final would be Vegas versus Tampa, because they're just so deep in forwards. They're both so deep.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. I think for the Western side, I'm kind of looking more at the Golden Knights a little bit, especially because Game 1, the Stars, they won 1-0 after scoring early, and then they were playing that defensive lockdown style that they have. But I don't know, something about the Golden Knights, they just keep popping up, and I really feel like they might win the whole thing. I don't know. We'll see. I've only seen them in action a couple of times. I've only been able to catch a couple of games, but just by the analytics and everything, I'd like to see them win. But who knows? It's hockey. Anything can change. It's quick. So that's my opinion so far, but we will see if that changes.
I think Kirsten will agree with me on this one. Who do you think from the Golden Knights has been their MVP? I think you would know who I'm thinking of, but it's not a forward. It's obviously if I just name every position, but it's not a forward. Who do you think the MVP for the Vegas Golden Knights has been? Just think about it. He got traded late at the deadline.
Oh gosh, I don't really know, because I haven't watched personally the Knights play too much this whole postseason. Tell me who you're thinking, because honestly, I don't know.
You probably know who it is. Robert Leonard, the goalie.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. That guy's insane. He is so dang good. Yes. Okay, I agree with you there. And usually it's crazy because nobody thinks that the goalie is going to be, kind of like the MVP of the team, but he totally is. The other day in Game 2, Robin Lehner keeps 24 shots from contacting the net. 24. And I'm like, this guy's insane. And every time you look online under their roster, he is always one of the first guys to pop up because there's so many news and articles written about this guy. Yes. Okay. That was not what I was expecting you to say, Jake, because he's a goalie, but I can see it. I can vibe with it.
But also going off that too, I think in these playoffs, we've seen how important goaltending has been. You look at the Flyers and how Hart played. He played out of his mind most of those games to keep the Flyers in certain games in contention.
Yeah, and he's super young too. Carter Hart is so young, so he's gonna be different if they they should plan on re-signing him. But once his rookie deal is up, then they'll obviously get him for a while, and he's an amazing goalie. And the thing that Carter Hart doesn't have, that the Lightning have, is 2 starting goaltenders. The Philadelphia Flyers have Carter Hart, and then they don't really have a main guy behind Carter Hart. You look at the Vegas Golden Knights, they acquired Robert Leonard from the Chicago Blackhawks at the trade deadline, and they already had Marc-Andre Fleury, who's going to be he's a Hall of Fame goalie. So you have a Hall of Fame goalie who's backing up your starting goaltender right now, who's only 30. So if Robert Leonard goes out or not having a good game, then you bring in a Hall of Fame goalie If it's Vegas and Tampa, I don't know, because then you have Vasilevsky too from the Lightning. So you literally have 3 great goaltenders just battling it out. I hope it's Tampa and Vegas in the Stanley Cup, because that would be just fun to watch. There's just so many good players.
And I have to add, since we're talking about goalies here, Anton Khudobin, not just a star, but a rock star the other night. He stopped all 25 Vegas shots, so, not that far behind from Lehner, and that was his first shutout in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So literally all these goalkeepers, they are showing up. They are showing up for these playoffs, and I don't know. Yeah, but I guess I still think Robert's the best. He's the best.
I mean, like Kirsten said, Dallas, she never saw them making it this far. I didn't see them going this far either. Like, if you start the Stanley Cup playoffs over, I honestly forget that they're even in the Stanley Cup playoffs because they're always like a second round team that gets knocked out. They just don't ever. I think the furthest they made it was like 2019 when they got knocked out. Was it the St. Louis Blues that knocked them out to go to the Stanley Cup, I think, or the Western Conference Final? I can't remember. But they always make it to like the second round or third round and get knocked out. So hopefully Dallas can break through this year. It'll be interesting. Like you said, their goaltender has been playing amazing too. So we'll see. But I don't know. Like it's hockey's unpredictable. It really is. It's not like the NBA where all the number 1 and 2 you just don't know what's going to happen.
And it's so fast. It can just change within a matter of seconds. You just never know. You know, you could be down and then have a game like at 8-2 the other night. Like the score's 8-2 and just how did that happen, you know? But it's very unpredictable. I'm excited to see what happens. To finish us off here, let's all just restate again for the record who we think is going to win the entire thing. For me, I'm going to stick with what I've been saying all along. I'm going to say Vegas. Jake, you're up. What do you think?
I'm picking Tampa Bay. I'm picking the Lightning. I don't want the Islanders to win it all, but I'm going to pick the Lightning just because they're so deep in forwards. They have a great defenseman. They have Victor Hedman. He's amazing. Andre Vasilevsky. He's one of the best goaltenders, if not the best goaltender in the league. So I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Lightning.
And Kirsten?
I'm going to have to agree. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
All right, 2-1. This should be interesting. We'll have to keep in contact while this is all happening. All right, guys. Well, this has been fun. It's been fun. We normally focus episodes on more than one sport, but it's been really nice this week to kind of cover NHL and really focus on that. And I know Jake is a huge hockey fan. You're a big hockey fan, and I'm new to the sport. So it's been very fun for me personally to kind of watch this showdown happen within our Zoom today. But Kirsten, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and talk to us on the last quarter. And we wish you all the best with your job and your endeavors. And let us know if you get that job. We're very excited.
Well, thank you. And thank you guys so much for having me. And I'll definitely keep you posted.
And that was the lovely Kirsten Krull. We really thank her for coming on today. She is an amazing person. And also, I'm very excited to see where she ends up because she is really good, especially for our age. Really good sports reporter. So that'll do it for this week, episode 5 of The Last Quarter. See you next week for